Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Police give details on deadly shootout in St. Catherine. Junior doctors restive over delayed discussions of new overtime policy. And later in sports, West Indies suffer heavy defeat in first test against Australia. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pula and here are the details. Former Member of Parliament Jolyan Silvera has been charged with murder in connection with the death of his wife, Melissa. Mr. Silvera was charged following questioning this morning by detectives attached to the Major Investigation Division. He has been in custody since yesterday afternoon. Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Fitzbailey, says Mr. Silvera was taken into custody following consultation with the Director of Public Prosecutions. It was initially reported that Mrs. Silvera died in her sleep on November 10, but a post-mortem later revealed the presence of bullet fragments in her body. The police then opened a murder investigation into the matter. The police are yet to release the identities of two alleged gangsters who were killed in a shootout with members of the security forces in Portmore last night. This following a shootout with members of the security forces. More in this report.
Catch it! Catch it! Catch it! Catch it! Catch it!
An amateur video of the shootout between police and gunmen along the Brayton Main Road in Portmore, St. Catherine, Thursday night. The incident happened around 8:30. Reports are that the men traveling in a Toyota Probox taxi were intercepted by the police on the Spanish Town bypass. The men reportedly fired at the officers and sped off along the Dunbeholden Main Road. The police gave chase and the men crashed into an embankment along the Brayton Main Road in Portmore, where a shootout ensued.
So the men ran from the vehicle and later fell to the ground. Subsequent search, one of the men was found with a weapon and the vehicle was searched and another weapon was taken from that vehicle.
Realized that the taxi was from Clarendon, Jamaica.
Right, that's the route we're picking up so far, and we're doing further investigation to see what we can come up with.
Head of the St. Catherine South Police, SSP Christopher Phillips, says based on intelligence, the men were heading to another area in the parish to carry out an attack. A warning from the police for persons looking to conduct illegal activities in the space.
For persons who continue to come into the Portmore space to commit crime, to be careful because we are revising our operational strategies going forward.
SSP Phillips is also assuring residents within the Brayton community that the police have things under control in the area. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
A number of vehicles reportedly stolen were recovered on Thursday during a major operation by the St. Elizabeth Police. Head of Police DSP Coleridge Mento says they were found in Black River.
In St. James, Toyota North was also recovered. This vehicle bore the license plate of another vehicle that was also reported stolen in St. James. Two other vehicles suspected of being stolen were also seized and brought to the station. One person was arrested in connection with the stolen vehicle, and that investigation is being conducted by the Black River CID.
In the meantime, DSP Minto says over 200 traffic tickets were issued from various breaches of the Road Traffic Act.
4 persons were arrested, 5 motorcycles seized.
We will continue to clamp down on these illegal motorcyclists. Last year, the division recorded 30 fatal collisions, 19 of which were motorcyclists. We are asking our motorcyclists to be extremely careful when driving their motorcycle and to wear protective gear.
The operation is part of ongoing efforts to restore public order in the parish. Medical doctors are reportedly restive due to delays in negotiations regarding the new overtime policy. President of the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, Dr. Mindy Fitz-Henley, made the revelation on Power 106 Morning Agenda Friday.
The Jamaica Medical Doctors Association says it has taken note of the assertion by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark that the Finance Ministry has been actively engaging with public sector trade unions. But the JMDA's President Mindy Fitzhenley says the association isn't one of them.
As the junior doctors who are working day in and day out, it cannot be that we are left out of the conversation. Other persons were even lucky enough to get an offer in December. We have not been able to have meetings to actually be able to discuss anything at all. We got an initial document that everyone got. Mind you, I believe we got it almost 2 weeks after everybody else got it. And when we got that document, it was just stating, the definitions of what overtime would be, who would be eligible for overtime, but there was no actual discussion on the policy itself.
She says the matter should have been resolved from April 2023 but was pushed back. Notwithstanding, Dr. Fitzhenley says members continue to work overtime and are still being paid 30% below what it should be.
We have different overtime rates. It's not just one set overtime rate that applies to every single person. We have doctors that would work for 4 hours versus doctors who would work for 24 hours. We have, and of course, more than that, we have doctors that will be working on call at more than one institution at the same time. All of those are usually at different rates. And so to expect that the same overtime policy would just apply blindly across the entire public sector, really doesn't seem as though it would fit for the health sector. I'm sure the nurses are in the same situation.
She again called for the matter to be resolved.
As I said, they did reply last night. So our next step, of course, is to respond formally to their letter that they sent last night. But in that letter, it does not give us a date for another meeting. It states that they are far advanced in their discussions with their stakeholders and that we will be updated once they have anything further on the matter. But that is not acceptable to us or our members. It has to be that if it is a negotiation, that we're able to sit at the table, and I believe wholeheartedly that the health sector has to be treated differently as it comes to the overtime policy.
Carrie-Ann Simpson for TVJ News.
A stark defense from the KCMC to concerns that it will be biased if it investigates itself in the case involving the Charlemont Avenue development in St. Andrew. As we hear in this report, the chairman of the corporation says there is no evidence to support the speculations.
Rubbish. That's how Chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, Delroy Williams, has responded to critics. It follows the announcement that the KSAMC launched its own investigation into the affairs relating to the Charlemont Avenue development owned by NWC President Mark Barnett and his wife Annette Francis Barnett in St. Andrew.
KSAC has no issue in initiating an investigation if there are allegations made against staff members. No, I disagree with that. So for persons to be saying that the KCMC would be covering up and wouldn't be coming clean, the facts don't say that.
Mr. Williams noted that in a previous case where 2 members of the corporation were interdicted, it was through an internal investigation. Hence, he believes there is no grounds for the negative speculations. The chairman says the corporation takes seriously the rules of law and recommendations from agencies that deal with the building approval process, as well as what comes out of the office of the DPP and court proceedings.
I don't agree with this painting of the KCMC as trying to paint the KCMC as a corrupt institution that can't investigate it itself. I would say that is not consistent with the measures and that the KCMC itself, with the measures that we have taken, that is not consistent with our current posture and what we are doing to improve the operations at the municipality. That's not consistent with that.
He admits, however, that there is room for improvement in the process.
In spite of what's being said out there, we are committed to strengthening the process and we are committed to taking into consideration all opinions and suggestions and decisions. We are committed to that because we believe in the end, the strengthening of the processes of the municipality, we believe that that is in the interest of the residents of the municipality, in the interest of the country.
Herman Green, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Order is coming to Falmouth, Trelawney. This as a multi-million-dollar transport center has become operational. More from O'Shane Masters.
Chairman of the Trelawney Municipal Corporation, Colin Gager, says the center is expected to ease the massive traffic jam, which has become a main feature of Falmouth, as commuters will be able to gain access to all bus routes in the facility, allowing order and regulated traffic flow to the town. Mr. Gager says work on the facility cost some $40 million. The corporation chairman says majority of the work has been completed.
The only thing left to be done that we want to accomplish is the big shed, bus shed, that will cover that the buses can drive under. And we have given out that, and the person is now designing and putting a cost to it.
Now with bus parks comes concerns of security, as extortionists normally takes over the facility. Mr. Gager says a number of measures are being put in place. One such is a police post.
We'll be putting in cameras so that it covers the surrounding of the compound. Because as you know, there is a lot of troubles that happen sometimes starting in the transportation center. So we want to get rid of all of that. We want to monitor the buses coming in and coming out. And if there's anything, the police should be able to roll back the cameras and see who is coming in, who boarded which bus, and all of that.
Mr. Gage, in the meantime, is dispelling rumors that he will be running for the constituency of Trelawney Southern following the resignation of Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert last year.
As a senior member of council, I am there to really organize and to keep the spirit of that council, of that constituency going. So I'm not the caretaker. I won't be going there. I love local government, and
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says the latest review by the International Monetary Fund gives credibility to the current economic policies. The country is set to gain access to about $255 million under the IMF's Resilience and Sustainability Facility, RSF. This after the fund on Thursday completed its Article 4 review for 2024. The IMF Executive Board is expected to consider the reviews in February 2024.
The IMF staff press release confirms that Jamaica's economy is on firm footing and our economic program is achieving its targets and objectives. Jamaica has the lowest unemployment rate in our history. We have experienced 10 consecutive quarters of economic growth, the second longest stretch of quarterly economic growth since we started measuring growth in 1997. Our debt is at a 25-year low. For the first time in 30 years, we have recorded a current account surplus, and the foreign exchange reserves in our central bank are at an all-time high.
Further afield, more layoffs are coming to Google in the coming months as the tech giant adapts to artificial intelligence and other changing industry trends. CEO Sundar Pichai warned of the layoffs in a company-wide memo. Job cuts at Google have already affected hundreds of employees in the past week alone. Pichai said the scale of the cuts won't be the same as last year's layoffs that trimmed Google's workforce by 12,000 employees. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm O'Shane Masters.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, health authorities in Trinidad and Tobago have confirmed the first case of the JN.1 variant of the coronavirus. A statement from the Ministry of Health said there is no evidence to suggest that it causes more severe illness, but it may spread more easily from person to person compared with other variants. On the international scene, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland says he believes there should be a speedy trial in the federal election subversion case against former President Donald Trump. The trial is currently set to take place in March, but it has been put on pause amid an appeal over presidential immunity. And an American Airlines flight attendant is facing federal child pornography charges for allegedly filming children using the bathroom. Last year, Estes Carter Thompson allegedly used stickers to tape his phone to an open toilet lid. Authorities say they later found 4 videos of kids using the bathroom on Thompson's iCloud account. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Amoy Harriet.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Jermaine Brown.